At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to multiply perfectly. Today, what we will be talking about is simple multiplication, place value, timesing 2-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers, and timesing 2-digit numbers times by 2-digit numbers. Then we will go through some questions, and then I have some questions at the end for you guys to try by yourselves. Now, before we even try to go for really big multiplication questions, how about let's try some simple ones? Pause the video and try these by yourself on a little piece of paper. I hope that you all have done that, so let's go through the answers. 2 times by 5 would be 10. 2 times by 9 would be 18. 3 times by 4 would be 12. 3 times by 10 would be 30. 4 times by 7 would be 28. 4 times by 8 would be 32. 4 times by 6 would be 24. 5 times by 8 would be 40. 5 times by 9 would be 45. And 6 times by 7 would be 42. I hope that you all got those right. Now we will be moving on to place value. So here we have the number 5. And 5 only has a ones place, so 5 is a ones, or we could call it a unit. Now if it is a unit or just a ones, that means that it's a 1-digit number. Now we have the number 34, and 34 is a little bit different from 5 because it has the tens place and a ones place, which makes it a 2-digit number. So those are what we're working with today. So the terminology that we're going to be using today is tens place, ones place, 1-digit number, and 2-digit number. I hope that you all remember that. Now we are going to be moving on to 2-digit numbers times by 1-digit numbers. So here we have the two numbers, 21 and 7. Now we need to differentiate these two numbers. 7 is a 1-digit number, whilst 21 is a 2-digit number. And because of that, we're going to put 21 at the top and 7 at the bottom. So always put your 2-digit number at the top and your 1-digit number at the bottom because it makes it so much easier for you. So now I'm going to walk you through how to do this perfectly. Now we have our ones place on 21 over here, and we have our ones place in 7. Now we're going to do these two ones times by each other. So 1 times by 7 would be 7. And then we have our tens place in 2, and we're going to multiply that by our ones down below here, which would be 2 times by 7 equals 14. So there we have our answer. It's really simple when you understand it because it's only 2 steps. But 2-digit numbers times by 2-digit numbers is a little bit more longer. Okay, so now that we've done that, if you guys really understood that, I have a question over here. 45 times by 2. The options are 90, 86, 220, 180. Now, if you would like to have a go at this, please put down the correct answer in the comment section below and you will see if you're right later in the video. So the answer was 90. I hope that all of you guys got that right. 45 times by 2 is 90, and you could have done that using our simple method of multiplication. Now we're going to be moving on to something a little bit more harder. 2-digit numbers times by 2-digit numbers. Now we have the same numbers here, 11 and 11, and these are both 2-digit numbers as we can see from the title. So that means that they're just going to go on top of each other. Now, the steps to this are a little bit more than timesing a 2-digit number by a 1-digit number. First, we're going to times both of our ones, which are at the side here, together, which equals 1 times by 1 will be 1. Then we're going to times our 1 over here by our tens at the top, and that would be 1 times by 1, which is 1. Now, this is the step that many people forget, but I really want everyone to remember this. Always put a 0 on your second row. So after we've done we've times our ones by that first number at the top, we want to start a new line and put a 0 at the side. Then we're going to continue. We're going to do our tens here times by our ones up here, which will be 1 times by 1, 1, and then our tens times by our tens, and that's 1 times by 1, which will be 1. Now we want to add these all together, so we have to put our addition sign over here. 1 add 0 will be 1, 1 add 1 will be 2, and 1 add nothing will be 1. So we have our answer of 121. It's as simple as that. Now, if you still don't understand that, don't worry, we're going to go through a few more examples in our questions. Okay, so question number 1 is 11 times by 23. Now, this is a 2-digit number times by a 2-digit number, so we're going to put them both together on top of each other. Now, I'm going to draw a line over here. Always make a line to make it a little bit more neater. Now, 3 times by 1, we're going to do 3 times by 1, our ones times together first, which would be 3. Then we're going to do our ones over here times by our tens over here. So 1 times by 3, which would be 3. Then what is our key step for this? We always have to add our 0. Now let's move on. We're going to do our tens times by our ones. So 2 times by 1, which would be 2. And then we're going to do our tens times by each other. So 1 times by 2, which would be 2. And then we're going to draw a line again and add these together. 3 add 0 would be 3. 3 add 2 would be 5. And 2 add nothing would be 2. So we have our answer of 253. Our new question, 31 times by 21. Now I think that our last example was a little bit too small, so I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for everyone to see this time. I think that it makes it a little bit more easy to understand. So over here we have this ones. We're looking at the bottom ones. So 1 is our ones over here, and we want to times it by our ones at the top over here. And 1 times by 1 would be 1. Now we're going to times our ones in the red, by our tens up here. So 1 times by 3 would be 3. Now our key move and step is to always add our 0 over here after we've done the top. Now we're going to do our tens over here times by our ones at the top in the yellow. So 2 times by 1 would be 2. And then our 2 tens times by each other. So 2 times by 3, which would be 6. Now we're going to add these all up together. 1 add 0 would be 1. 3 add 2 would be 5. And 6 add nothing would be 6. We're going to be doing our next question, which is 54 times by 45. Now, in this question, we actually do have to do borrowing. Now, borrowing is a little bit simple, but if you don't understand it, I'm going to show you guys how to do it now. So I've set it out as normal. Borrowing does not mean that anything is changing massively. So first of all, we're going to do our bottom ones, which would be 5, times by our top ones, which would be 4. And that equals 20. And that's exactly where our borrowing comes in. I can't just go 20. I can't write 20 like that. It's taking up space. So exactly what I have to do is take my 20 and I'm only going to put our 0, the back number, on this line. Now what's going to happen to our 2 is that I'm going to put our 2 right on top of our tens, just in a little small font. And we're going to show you what to do now. Now I'm going to do my 5 here times by our tens at the top. So 5 times by 5 will be 25. Now this 2, we're going to add it on. 25 add 2 equals 27. And now we can write 27 down here. So that's exactly how you do borrowing. It is very simple, but you don't always have to write it out like this. You can do it mentally sometimes. Okay, so let's move on to our next step. Now we have to add our 0 here and then do our tens here times by our ones at the top, which would be 16. And we're doing borrowing again. So it's 16, but we can only write this one at the back. I put a 6 here, and I bring over my 1 over here, circle it. So now this 2 is not important anymore since we've added it. Now we do our 2 tens times by each other, 5 times by 4, which would be 20, and add our 1, 20, add 1 equals 21. Now we have to add together, 0 add 0, 0, 7 add 6 is 13, 2 add 1 would be 3, add the 1 would be 4, and then 2 add nothing would be 2. And that is our answer. Borrowing does, so as you can see, with big numbers like this, you will come against a borrowing. 2-digit numbers, multiplication is not going to always be simple because you can really have lots of numbers like this, really big numbers, not just small numbers in the hundreds. You can have thousands or even 10,000. So that's why it's always good to learn this borrowing method. Okay, so now I have a few questions for you guys to try by yourselves and answer in the comment section below. They are 21 times by 34, 56 times by 57, and 67 times by 34, and 78 times by 23. These all involve borrowing. So do it carefully and remember all of our rules. You can rewatch the video to jog your memory up. And if you would like to, please comment down your answers in the comment section below and I can tell you if you're right or not. Thank you guys for watching and bye!